Alright, first thing I did for Charlie is make this tribute. But the second thing I'm noticing is people being disrespectful as they often do. If there's any kind of sign for changes to come, it is NPCs stinking with disrespect. There's no better criteria in life of finding that changes are gonna happen in the future. Something's gonna fucking wipe the world clean a little bit. Never ever toy with disrespect. It's just never gonna work, my friend. I would not dare to disrespect something like incels. It's just like disrespecting poor people. Of like, oh, these guys don't get any love and I just rob the bank every fucking day whenever I feel like it. Women just give it to me. Yeah, you'll be chopped up. You'll be chopped up, bro. You'll be sold in pieces for someone else's amusement. Like, for fuck's sake, man. You disrespect incels, they disrespect you, but you probably don't get to breathe the next day, you know? In this case, what we're seeing is a disrespect to just violence. Mm-hmm. You can only go as far as to say, karma. Bro is pro-gun, doesn't care about gun regulation, and, well, got shot by a gun. Oopsie. Definitely a twist of faith. Definitely fucking bite the bullet on his ideology. I would not want to be surrounded by people who can just decide, whenever they feel like it, that you are a threat. So instead of pointing a gun at the government to make them work better, to make them fear the people and recognize democracy. Instead, we have this happen, and it's terrifying. Bro didn't care enough, and he's young enough to be kind of a dumbass in this regard. But one thing I hate even more than not giving a fuck about protecting yourself and valuable people, because, like, we already saw the attempt on assassination on Trump. Like, if we lose Trump, that's not one person lost. That's 10,000 people lost in one shot. This is a very disgraceful moment and something that has to be incredibly overwatched. You can open carry, but if there's an important person, important event happening, the gun restrictions should be immediately invoked. You can't just go into a crowd of people with a fucking gun. No, you should get shot immediately, by the way. Like, that should have been the actual case where if, like, you open carry into a fucking event where people exist, where massive amount of people exist, you should have been shot immediately. If, like, what open carry? Today's Tuesday, bro. Today's Tuesday. And people made a joke of, like, prove me wrong. And unfortunately, it didn't work in his favor. People don't just talk in words, they talk in legalities, you know? It's legal. It was legal, bro. I slipped. I slipped through your defenses, you piece of shit. I proved you wrong, and honestly, it's crazy. As more details come out of the story, I don't know if I'll respond to that. I'll probably just post some TikToks and whatnot, but I'm not there to do serious discussions about this because people are fucking degenerates when it comes to this discussion. And because I'm taking a centrist position of, like, I hate lefties and I hate gun violence, it's still a centrist position, you know? Maybe not. Maybe he was extreme. Maybe he was extreme on this thing. Maybe people can agree on that. I don't know. I know that lefties are definitely screaming fucking maniacs that actually endorse violence. Like, this is crazy. There's no reason to endorse violence. Just shut up. Be respectful. Because holy shit, if you ask someone to rot in hell right after they died, it just proves to me that revenge has to be taken. This is as much of a gun control problem as much as lefties being fucking arrogant assholes a problem. Like, arrogance is not free speech. Hate speech is not free speech. And that's also a problem right now. Like, he's trying to be nice. Niceness, that is free speech. But people spitting garbage at you is not free speech. It shouldn't be free speech. So another thing that I found that is a problem to me, that kind of led to this fucking, vulnerability, is bro allows people to speak even when they become demonically obsessed, basically, when they can't admit that they're wrong. It doesn't seem there to be even a time limit for these discussions, basically, that gets chopped up the moment these demons, bro, show their true face. No one should be dominating this microphone thing. People need to engage with, like, really important ideas and not just fucking shout names. It is technically a guy who is trying to prove that, like, bro, demons exist. I'm in front lines of demons shouting at me, basically. But, that's it. That's all he does. He just proves that. It just brings awareness. I personally don't need awareness. I already am aware enough to ban people. Because I had enough, right? I can only give certain amount of free speech. Nice speech is something that's just very easy to allow. It's like, absolutely, be nice. But the moment you dip below this kind of fucking label, below niceness, now you are taxing me. So at certain points, free speech, it does cost me. Your free speech fucking cost me brain cells. Cost me patience. Why should I fucking give it to you? What is going on? This sort of the mind virus of free speech is actually incredibly dangerous. And people finding the legality of it, of like, speech is free, blah, blah, blah. We can say whatever we want. We can condemn people for even dying. That's a good thing. They should be dead. That's your enemy, bro. You should defeat your enemies in a proper way. He allowed you to try and defeat him. But his time ran out, Maybe he did it correctly. Who knows? I would be judgmental even if he might not have such an open mind as he propagates, because in the end, it is still beneficial to him, right? Just to go to war against students in general, right? So I'm still trying to make up my mind what is actually going on here. It is still very confusing. But one thing is clear, the hissy fit that lefties are doing, it triggers me, bro. Because one thing that I want in a funeral is that free speech gets restricted even more than usual, right? If you're happy during the funeral, you need a punch in the fucking face. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, right? If you celebrating other people's demise, that's not free speech. You're hating again. You are again in the wrong place doing the wrong thing, and there should be consequences. We have to bring back the moral consequences. What is going on? Where are the moral consequences, bro? Where's the moral code? People like this bring up religion because they don't have a fucking moral code. It's disgusting, They don't have self-defenses. He allows open mind because he doesn't dare to shame people, and that's actually very vulnerable position, and I think that's the end of his story. Like, you should never just not have a moral compass and not shut up people when they're trying to tax you, basically. They're trying to shout at you, basically. Don't fucking let that happen, bro. You can clearly see activism like this has a time limit. Don't play this dangerous role as if you can have this job forever. Just prove me wrong is not an eternal job someone can forever hold in their possession. All right, it's temporary, and we got to see how long you can be this way, right? You can maybe 1-2 years max. Like, you get your viral 1 billion views, maybe shut the fuck up now. Maybe stop fucking showing up in these places, right? Maybe find a different format that works for you. Or at least not in a fucking America, dude. There's other places in the world which don't have guns in the first place. And somehow those places do function. The government didn't just steal pans every time I wake up. All my pans are stolen by the government, you know? Doesn't happen. Government fucking pays me money. So I'm pretty chill right now when it comes to my government. My government is trying to tax the rich, as a normal fucking government should. You know, property tax. Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's go, bro. People protested the property tax, but at the same time, I gotta fucking let it slide, you know? Just let it slide. People getting fired or getting beat up, that's what I heard. Like, people are trying to get those consequences delivered, you know? Or trying to just at least show that there should be consequences in most terms. But people have to put down the fucking moral code. I'm trying desperately. I'm shouting that fucking shit out every single time shit like this happens. There's lack of moral code. The world is dangerous right now. A lot of things made legal, but they're gonna be abused, you know? The morality is gonna be broken on these things. Anyways, that's about that. So we have to dig deeper into the idea of people being disrespectful. They find their motherfucking freedoms. Even my friend is like, oh, I actually give a fuck about bikes. You know, I'm a, like, get closer to the biker club or whatever the fuck he's into. And it's like, okay, sacrifice friendship immediately. We're not doing this anymore. And he did that. He sacrificed his friendship. So damn happy about it, it seems. Didn't try to get it back. But it's like, for fuck's sake, why are you breaking these moral fucking boundaries? Like, I'm obviously not gonna be friends with a person that fucking haunts my fucking brains. Bikers keep zooming through my fucking property, through where I'm trying to fucking get as much peace as possible, because apparently it's a fucking scarce resource in a world that's falling apart, where NPCs stinking with disrespect. That's the world we live in right now. They keep stinking harder and harder. It's almost like they dare to beat up someone because they really want to tell that person of like, oh my god, you bled all over your shirt. Your shirt is dirty and disgusting. Go take a shower. You know, they want to beat someone up just to disrespect them some more. Just to pretend that it wasn't their fault anyways. You know, it's just like consequences. So if someone is down, if someone is poor or in trouble, you know, NPCs just be disrespectful like that. And it's like, bro, this will happen to you. Revenge is inevitable. No one will sit there and just wait to get more insults when we're living in a shithole, bro, where no problems are getting solved anymore. Like, at some point, we should get closer to existence of a judge. If you disrespect a judge, you get a fucking 1-year sentence just slapped on top. But why? Why there should be a presence of a fucking judge? Like, disrespect in general should be captured and consequences should be delivered. And again, but what about my free speech? Absolutely. But there's this lack of capacity at some points. Like, it fluctuates, you know? It fluctuates. If someone really needs attention, if you can fuel attention to them, doesn't really matter. Disrespect me, bro. Type in your shitty fucking comments. I want your attention on every other video except when drama drops. Alright, when this happens, shut the fuck up. Every other time, please talk. This time, shut the fuck up. Like, you see the inequality. You see the fucking degeneracy, basically, that people project. They click on a video and they vomit their fucking opinions. Your opinions don't fucking matter. You came in the wrong place at the wrong time every single time. And you refuse to show up any other time. That is the most bullshit thing people are doing. They're going zombie mode. They're just getting triggered. They're just getting offended. They're going on the offense every single time. They're becoming a form of nature. And being a form of nature is like fucking doing exercise at summer. You're killing yourself. You're doing nothing, bro. You're having no effect on humanity because you are nature. And nature will be changed. You see what I'm talking about? We literally circle back to the saying that I said before. The moment NPCs think with respect, we have to change. The season has to change, and NPCs who embody the season of capitalism, they will be kicked out in their fucking balls and out of here. Out of here. We don't need this pieces of shit in society. We don't need that garbage. If we are much better off by removing a group of people that we can all agree exists, then fuck yeah. Remove that cancer out of society right now. Some people think cancer is inside people's bodies. No. Cancer is the human being who refuses to fucking be better, do better, and respect not the legalities, but moralities. I kind of wanted to talk about, like, this few circles. I feel like there's a holy circle as well. The moral code is smaller than legal code. You don't have to do all the fucking stupid shit in your life anyways. But potentially with a lot of wisdom, you unlock the holy circle where you don't have to do anything. Just be defensive. Just protect the things you care about. That's a holy circle, bro. You don't need to do much to experience much, right? But people who are desperate and bored, they're gonna do some crazy shit and essentially very disrespectful in most capacities, right? Religion was built for respect. Like, we mourn the dead because it's a respectful thing to do. We celebrate marriage because it's a respectful thing to do. Like, it's such a fucking basic shit. We pray for people because that's a respectful thing to do, is just think about them in a positive light, hoping that good things will happen to them and that good things are good enough to change anyone's minds, to protect anyone. And maybe in the process we get an insight of like how it should look like. Because when you see a vision, praying is establishing a vision of what the world should look like. And when it's dysfunctional, you see a difference. You see a difference of how world isn't right now. The world quite isn't, but should be different. When you see that difference of vision, that's why prayer is so powerful, right? You pray for a change in order to extend your capacity for that change to happen. You open that capacity for change. Like, that's a thing you can possess. And again, it's a very sudden moment where the world is starting to fall apart all of a sudden, and no one should be like feeling in control. What are you doing, bro? The world is under control of falling apart. You're not in control. Your opinions stink ass. No person came into control and suddenly controlled the silence in my channel, or just disruption of like my channel is falling apart. I don't know what happened. I don't know why people are so disconnected right now, but that's where we are. All right, you guys don't give a fuck. So at least be consistent, because when people are not consistent, then it's a really big problem. When they just want to find an opportunity to socially, overwhelm you, man, fuck you guys. You're degenerates. You don't give a fuck. You don't have any social qualities whatsoever. You have to try and keep up with me to be able to even get a little bit of care out of me. I don't care. I really don't care. And people show no respect anyways. There's no reason to care. If you opened your eyes, people have no ability to have conversations. And collecting respect is their biggest allergy. They don't know how to do it. They have that biggest lack, the biggest skill gap imaginable. Collecting respect, bro. Unfortunately, it's a solo process, and people who are anxious, they're not going to be able to pull this shit off. They're not going to collect respect whatsoever. Banning is merely a sign that, yes, I probably would like to reverse all these bans, but holy shit, every single reverse has to come with an amazing apology letter, basically. You know, can't wait to open my P.O. box and let people apologize, because getting banned is a very respectable thing. Obviously, the obvious thing happens when you're running away from police. You can never stop. You can never turn around and start respecting police again. Because you don't want the consequences. You want to run away from the consequences, like any fucking criminal would. Right? The moment you do something wrong, you start running. But when it comes to disrespect, it looks very different because NPCs, they don't want to run necessarily. They want to find other people that they would belong into. They want to blend in. They want to just like, oh, that's acceptable. That's kind of normal. People don't care about each other. Well, like, whatever, you know? The, we have basically built politics. Basically, lefty politics are all about not giving a fuck. And so you shift the blame of like inequalities, you shift the blame on sexual problems or whatever. You just shift attention as much as possible and see how long it can fucking last. But what lefties must understand that now that all bets are off, like they're gonna be losing so fucking fast. The only thing you need is disrespect, and you will continue accelerating this process of like something gonna fucking scoop them up and throw them out. But I respect all these people that come through the border and I don't have to take care of them. I don't have to fund their existence. It's like, oh wow. Your respect is so great for those people. And you're just disrespecting everyone else who do have to fucking work hard to maintain sanity in their country. You know, like, at some point, your respect for imaginary ghosts, it don't work no more. So, in a way, now leftism looks like a fucking people running away from police, running away from consequences. And at some point, they have to give themselves up. Maybe it has parallels to women culture in general. And I would say absolutely. While you are pretty, you're running away from police. And maybe you'll get away with that shit. But the moment you are questionably pretty, the moment you're getting old, the moment you have imperfections, maybe people will not respect you just visually. You know, maybe people will second guess who you are, right? And what you're up to basically. When you're not attractive no more. When people don't just want to see the legal things, but they want to see what are you providing to society. They want to inspect that shit, and at some point, maybe your face is fucking ugly, and maybe you get the fuck out of here. You know? The last thing that lefties would try to do is to hijack as much power as possible, because it's very difficult to, like, people who have claimed power to give them consequences. They have power, so they're a little bit dangerous, they're a little bit, like, fleeting, like, you're not gonna catch them that easily. Right? You're not going to be able to contact them easily. You're not going to be able to drag them out because they have some kind of fucking reputation. People gonna, yap and yap when anything happens to them. So it's they created this power structure where like Republicans now will have to fucking take over and take revenge slowly and surely. It'd still be happening. We still put them fucking in consequences, but we at least as Republicans themselves have to agree on a fucking moral compass. They have to build a religion that makes sense. Right? They still have to build this shit. And fast. Without fucking bullet holes. You know, without guns being permitted into a moral territory. Guns are legal, but they're not moral. It's fucking that easy. It's that easy. But when you claim power, you spread your disease onto other people. Again, you're trying to blend in with others and trying to get their approval, right? Trying to look like you're being supported by a lot of people, but in actuality, you're doing nothing that provides any value. Again, I have my own bubble, and I can see the entire fucking playbook in front of my eyes. I have a pardoned manager that's in power and doesn't do shit. In fact, goes the opposite way to shut people up with the most bullshit fucking answers. They have power, but they give in into just the regular motion of other NPCs. In other words, they claimed power because they followed the rules. And if something is not a problem, like men, they're not gonna chase power when there's no problems. You know, there's gonna be empty seats somewhere somehow. But when there is problem, they might fucking kick you out, and very quickly in order to stabilize the situation. You know, you have warmed up the seat, and I will kick you out and take it from you. And in my case, motherfuckers around me have warmed up the entire fucking apartment complex, bro. They warmed it up. Just make me popular, and I will give it all to you. You know? It's gonna be easy, bro. You're just gonna come up to a person and it's like, let me buy this thing. How much is it? And they will name a fucking good price. And we'll all be friends. Because there's nothing worse than not replacing pieces of shit with a random internet person. A person who knows how to use the internet. I'll take that over any fucking degenerate that lives nearby right now. Even my mom kind of possesses this like fucking weird power of like she sits in a position of power. She gets money from the government. Technically, I do the same thing, but I'm leeching still. It's my mom's money in a way. I get some cash allowance, you know, to buy some cool shit, but it's not as much to survive. And it's like, does my mom deserve the money? No, she's a fucking baby. She's a baby. Where do you give that so much power to her? Because you don't care. So many people just don't give a fuck, and power just leaks out of like to anyone. You know, people are trying to shelter each other, and in a way the power seekers are going to shelter other power seekers, right? People who are disrespectful going to shelter other people who are disrespectful, to the point where you drop a bomb where you feel there's disrespect coming from that source, and you're always going to be hitting all of them at once, bro. You're going to hit all of them at once. They will all disappear. All of these demons just evaporate because you accidentally step on their pee-pee, bro. Pee-pee, bro. No more pee-pee for you. It's easy to drop a bomb. These guys are easily offended because they're easily scared. You wouldn't be offended if someone just asks a question, right? If someone just does something very simple. But you would be offended if you're running away from religion itself, from morality. If you're running away from these arbitrary things because you're the ultimate edgelord, basically, and you're taking advantage of the system that allows you to not be moral, right? I get no power, personally, because the moment I would have the power, I would start making the changes necessary, and I would start throwing the power at them. I don't have the bomb, mind you, but they would immediately explode. I know the target. I know where to throw that shit. It's gonna happen instantly. The bomb just gonna bounce off of me the moment it is in my hands. It just literally bounces. I will hold the bomb for zero amount of seconds. I will not even attempt to own it. It will already be exploding in their motherfucking hands of disrespectful people, bro, who are trying to ruin my life, bro. And if people just give in to this kind of like toxic power dynamic, you're just gonna be stuck in this sludge altogether. And most importantly, you're gonna fucking erode all the moral values that will enlighten you to seek a better life. You just accept a shitty life. That's why these people have power in the first place. That's how they collect it. They accept a shitty life. Because making changes is very difficult. Improving yourself is difficult. And respect is impossible for these people. Because if they started respecting, their life would slow down and become just a little bit more boring. Oh my god. Because they don't care about human values. If you cared about human values, your life wouldn't be boring. But since you don't give a fuck, now in order to escape boredom, you need to gobble up all these fucking opportunities. You know? And it's so easy. It's so easy. Eventually, it's going to be so easy. Everyone will know. You just put on the fucking border. We just start praying and suffocating these motherfucking zombies, increasing the food prices even more for them specifically. Right? Separating the legal zombies, basically, from the rest of society. And we pray that this wall remains as long as possible. You know? This could just be the final domination episode. We don't need that many. Someone dying, funeral. We can just, respectfully lay this whole fucking series to rest. We have seen the pinnacle of human degeneracy. Not generosity, not kindness, degeneracy, bro. And it's crazy how potent it is and how they all come together for the same purpose. To run away with their disrespectful fucking behaviors. While everyone else is being portrayed as an incel, but they're moral. They said they don't do anything. They don't pursue your girlfriend. You want more competition, you should be happy. You know? You should be happy that you can get away with all this crazy shit right now. But my voice should be a warning to anyone who thinks it's gonna last. That they can just continue being assholes in every circumstance. It is disrespect when, my mom is valued more than me. It's disrespect to the point where it just kind of bends my mind. Makes me almost take any opportunity I can possibly get to get more respect. Right? I'm the one answering the door now. I'm the one talking about financial decisions, bro. Not my mom. What is going on? But people expect everyone to stand up for themselves. Bro, my mom is a baby. She's watching Tom and Jerry at this point. What are you talking about? That's not a responsible person. That's not a responsible adult. And that's the fucking difference maker. Just because someone is old doesn't mean you have all the criteria to figure out which person is more respectful person. You just don't have the criteria, bro. Age is not a criteria. There's more to it. Just like police cannot extract respect when my problem is a child crying. No, bro. Extract respect from the parents. Ask them what they're doing. To fucking stop it. To stop this bullshit. You can always extract respect. What is going on? And a child should not be left behind when he's crying. That's a problem too. Now you have to extract respect from from the child's parents even more if a child is left alone and crying. For fuck's sake. It's not hard to extract respect, to expect respect from other people. It's not hard. And people should not forget how to do it. They should craft in their minds how to do it. Just because something is legal doesn't mean the job is over. Every person has to fundamentally craft their own moral compass, basically. To stay in check, so there's no risky business. Alright? Don't worry about Charlie Kirk, unfortunately. He became very popular very quickly. He has shown that there is a shortcut to popularity. And is basically being open to discussion with zombies, with all these demons. I would not want to do that. But apparently the door is open, for you to attempt something very courageous. That, anything courageous is risky fundamentally. So, Kirk's positioning is a little bit fishy. I would not choose that one. Someone has to invent something better that lasts at least 10 years. Something just a little bit less risky. Then maybe I will consider. In this case, bro did not respect himself. He just respected his own political beliefs very much, but he didn't fucking care to challenge his own beliefs. He asked other people to do it for him. Hey guys, do it for him. Prove him wrong, He really is eager, so you prove him wrong about his political beliefs. It was your job to change his mind. How kind. It looks fucking pathetic when you think about it. But again, when I say this doesn't warrant a death, death is not wanted. Death is not wanted. In a funeral, people come to a funeral because they have the moral compass to tell everyone that death is not wanted. We don't want anyone to die. If it happens, and you better be sad about it, because for fuck's sake, disrespect is so hard to fucking stomach. It's so hard to just sit there and be like, that guy is allowing himself to do all these crazy things and we can't do anything about it. It's very difficult to stand those family members, those people in your community who can just do whatever the fuck they want, who can just distract you from their problems at the same time when they use their power dynamic as well. They use their power to vomit even some more, to use that fucking free speech bullshit, to use these legalities. They start looking for power way more than ever, to try and harvest as much power as possible, because they know that this legal zone between morality and legality, it doesn't just allow you to do crazy shit and potentially self-damaging things. It also holds a little bit of that power, right, that you can harvest. That's quite interesting, right? You can also, find unethical ways to make money, all that crazy shit. And right now, the final phase is for NPCs to harvest power from these, legal but immoral places. Keep your eyes peeled, because they're doing it right now. They can't help themselves. They cannot control themselves. That's the only thing they have to hold on to. Every NPC has to fucking live by the clock of nature. I don't think my friend is an NPC. I think my friend is deceived, distracted by what's going on. He's more towards the nature side. The self-improvement matrix is quite fascinating. It shows basically your resistance to nature itself. So my friend is here in a diva level of wow, look at me, I'm not an NPC, and it's that's not good enough. Not an NPC does not give you bragging rights. You still fucking pay attention to everything NPCs are doing right now. You can't take your eyes off of them, or even criticize their behavior, because you don't know better. You just reduce the attachment to being an imbecile. But that, it didn't stop you from looking at them anytime they ask you for something. Anytime they do something to you, you still put them into your brain cells. And I bet this idea of giving a fuck about bikers happened because he was swarmed by bikers, He started noticing that. But instead of resisting that, he just accepted it immediately. As that's what people do. I am noticing that I'm traveling even further. I will need to take revenge on the nature itself, because that's where the maximum power exists. When you resist the nature, maximum speed. But to go godlike, it does feel like my life will fundamentally have to change, which is the hardest pill to swallow. Like, how exactly? That's weird, man. But yeah, as I've said, there's 4 paths to follow, and now another matrix opens up of resistance to nature. To nature. You don't want to become the summertime and make things even hotter as they already are. You don't want to be a cold person during the winter, where you don't care about nobody during the winter. Nah, bro. Nah. Wintertime is the best time to be a fucking Santa Claus and claw people into drama, into yelling at each other. Because most of the time they will go outside and they will feel the drama has nothing to do with them. It's cold outside. And they need human connection, whatever that fucking connection might be. Finding a nature is easier. For now, I'm just recognizing the nature, right? I'm recognizing that I'm an opposition to human nature. And just nature of humanity's clock. Changing your behavior automatically. That's why NPCs feel so scripted, because they are actually following a script. They are changing their behavior based on what works. What is the new working thing? But they will have to first master the new working thing. The AI changes that are gonna happen. NPCs will be fucking clueless. They will be like little babies screaming for help. The moment AI takes over, everyone will be clueless of what do I do? Please help me. And then we start punching them in the face. Then we take our revenge, bro. I hate little babies who can't take care of themselves. Stop me, bro. Right now, when the babies are on the offense, mostly, and their nature is about gathering power. That's also quite offensive. That's very sneaky offense. They want to backstab you and just kind of push you aside so they can continue harvesting power. I've seen this with every friend. Every friend became possessed by this nature. So yeah, the code of nature. There's a code of just capitalism. People appreciate capitalism. It is offensive culture. You have to go out there and do things. Go on the offense for the sake of capitalism, right? But potentially there's a 5th number. Like I represent clock like this. There's a 5th number which represents current decades, or like 8 years. I'm not sure if it's a decade or 8 years. But right now, people are power hungry. They will use the capitalism to boost their power levels, whatever it takes, right? And this is the nature that you have to resist. For me, it's very easy. Bro, I'm now outspoken. Now I have a YouTube channel. Now I am socially active as much as possible. Now I am fully fortified. I have plenty of free time, all that shit. Like, I maxed my stats easily against this thing. You're not gonna take any power from me. You can try, and try again, but I'm naturally resistant to bullshit like this. And the moment it resets, and this happens when I'm naturally resistant to NPCs in general, and they act as little babies, all innocent and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. You're fucked now. It is a little bit weird, though, to take my opportunities, but that's how they present themselves. You take it. I got hurt. I'll wait for that right opportunity to get my shit back together. I'm not sure, again, I'm just bringing the 5th number, like, is this, like, actually nature spread across? Because this is also nature spread across. This is the thing that changes. This is the offense culture. Maybe this is the thing that when it changes, when it becomes a sneaky offense culture, then I will notice it. Right now, it's on the edge, on the power grabbing stage, where people just trying to still survive to keep this thing alive, but they look so stupid when they do it. Now it's easy to expose them, basically. So they're trying to make as much havoc, as much noise as possible to cover their tracks, and it still works until everything collapses. And everything resets for them. And then they will have to start asking for help. You know, they will be helpless. So I'm not sure exactly how this works, and maybe the most holy people gonna start getting attention. I feel like that's how it works. People are not only becoming kind of like legal monsters, but they're very borderline criminals. That's another phase, basically, the ultimate edgelord status, where they're probably criminals that didn't got caught yet. They're probably Chris Tysons that still are friends with Mr. Beast type of thing. You know, they never got caught. But they're slowly edging for power, reaching for power. And the most power they will realize it's over here when you do criminal things, when you do very bad things to other people. And most importantly, like, to do bad things, you have to stand out as a crazy person. This is also not just criminal status, but crazy status. You have to stand out. When people point a camera at you and you stand out as a crazy person, people will note that because they don't want to be in danger. They don't want to be surrounded by criminals, by all means. So you can expose people like that. So I do feel like this is how it goes. People keep pulling the strings further and further. They get more and more comfortable with the nature of things. There's nothing you cannot stop that. But at some point they will realize they're in the borderline. Everything changed. We built a fucking wall. And either you panic and go straight into the middle and reset everything, or you die in this like gate-kept lands. We gatekeep these lands where criminals don't come back into society. And people who grab power, they might realize that they cannot come back. This happened when there was Chase Bank kind of drama, right? Where people took power, took a bunch of free money, but they can't come back to society. Now they're being hunted down. It's literally exact same process happening right now. There's more temptations than ever to become evil, to wish someone death and destruction and laugh at them, basically. There's more temptations of doing that than ever before. And it will continue pushing you towards the edge and collecting your, basically, disqualified body. Because society does not give a fuck about people like that. Currently, even batches of politicians, like in Nepal, they banned social media, so they all together decided to jump across the border and become criminals, take away something extremely valuable from people, and get completely obliterated. Immediately, they have been tossed away from society. It was game over for them. And this is just happening across the world right now, where batches of people, again, are attempted by harvesting more power just to survive. I'm sorry, bro. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. So, at some point, things will reset, and holy people will get to interact with newbies again. Like, what do we do with society again? Just like rich people are the holy people, but, you know, that's a different game that I didn't get to participate. Because it's not interesting. Like, it's possible. I was very close to being a rich person, but the world is like constantly falling apart in front of me, saying that that's not a game that you can manage to win right now. You have to be crazy powerful to be able to enter this game. And it's just like, you're not fast. That's crazy. I don't think any human can fucking do it. Being rich will not yield as much of a value in the future as it does right now. Again, right now you can appear holy, you can be Elon Musk, and with all these mistakes that you're making, you still look holy because you're you're just the top player, you know? You have the most power because you did something correctly, you know, and people have to untangle is this good or bad? What's going on here? But you're holy. You hold the most valuable stuff that people declared as value. It is what it is. That has to be recognized. You you gain money and you gain all these freedoms. All apparently you get worship just like a moral person just because you have money. And technically, you have to recognize that that's important. But being in a moral circle is a lot easier than entering a holy circle. And entering a holy circle is a lot easier when you are entering from a new game perspective. So the money game is getting more and more complicated. The winners are getting kind of clear and established. There's not many ways of making money anymore, and the shit is kind of falling apart. It's looking kind of gross. Having money is no longer a holy status as it used to be. Everything is kind of shutting down slowly, so you can feel that there is another layer that has to replace this one. There's a whole new layer that will change the game entirely. Again, I recognize that I can't compete in this game very long time ago, right? That I'm only just a pawn in this game, and it's just like, it's cool, it's not bad. I'm earning money, I get to live life, I get a lot of fucking value from this. I'm not gonna be bitter about this. I get to stay in my moral circle, that's all good. But I will never become holy. You know, I will never be treated as some greater person. And I shouldn't be, you know? I should chase the holiness in a different game, in a different set of rules. Because if I get an opportunity, I might as well focus on it. But again, I will tell you guys, I'm so close and just like solving this like ultimate mystery of how to like kill polygons or something, like how to do rendering. And people did very similar things to me. Right? I feel welcome in this like final billionaire circle, which I could still like enter for the hell of it. You know, I'm still kind of playing two games at once because we don't know the rules of the second game. We don't actually know the rules. I can only prepare myself for any possibility, right? I know we all gonna be alone in this again. So loneliness is quite a virtue, quite helps you prepare, because again, this gets replaced with something else, a different rule set, and probably a lot of people are gonna be welcome until they break the rules. And mostly people are gonna be welcome in order to kind of be tempted to go back in the ways of morality, to be rewarded for good things that they do and not the bad things that they do. We shouldn't reward people like that. Unless we build consequences of we're gonna shut this thing down. We're gonna tempt people to be criminals so we can catch them, basically. So that's how you have to see the world. Charlie Kirk's death is just a temptation for evil to come out, for the worms to come out in the rain. That's it. That's all there is to it. For you personally. You get to see the evil, you put down their names, you recognize who they are, where they are, you make a list of that shit. And we're gonna shut them down. The more people you prevent to enter the holy change in the world where everyone comes together to make the change in the world that is necessary, the more people you will prevent from doing that shit, the more people you will take revenge on, because that's the ultimate form of revenge. People are becoming borderline criminals. There's nothing better to do than take revenge on pieces of shit like that, to expose them in front of everyone of like, he did that. He did that to me. He doesn't deserve this. By any means, if you were a criminal, even in this game, you're not going back in the fucking middle. You're not being holy. You're never going to be treated as holy. And that's the heaven and hell, baby, that everyone we're talking about. Is simply a change in the game where everyone comes together and be like, what are we doing now? The world changed so much, people are becoming criminals, what are we doing now? First of all, we disqualify the criminals, and then start building next way of life. We recognize our mistakes and start building next way of life. We need new rules that help us, that guides us and speeds our life up, instead of putting me in a position where I'm just stressed left and right, up and down. There's criminals everywhere. Fucking vomiting all over, bro. All over my channel, all over my creations. Everything feels degenerated, basically. And I still can't get even more respect than my mom, who doesn't do any of this stuff that I'm doing. So, okay. Okay, princess. Yeah, everything is betraying me. And I don't like that. I don't like that. We all potentially feel the entirety of life. We all potentially feel when someone is tempted to be a criminal, right? When they cannot stay in moral circle anymore, they cannot hold a conversation. To hold a conversation, you literally have to be in a moral circle. You must not shout at the other person. You must not invade them with stupid ideas, you know, that sound immoral. Like, I'm not gonna fucking entertain your stupid immoral ideas. You're outside of the circle. We can't talk anymore. You can't talk to anyone, by the way. It wouldn't make sense that anyone fucking cares unless you're plotting something legal, very legal, you know? So I feel like everyone feels this whole dynamic. Every person gets to feel. That's the fucking most magical established thing. Everyone can feel when someone becomes a criminal, when someone becomes immoral, and absolutely can feel when someone becomes rich and holy in your life. I want that shit to happen to you. That's what we pray for holy things to happen, for holy people to step into your life. See you guys next time. Get fucking dominated, and maybe, this is the last domination episode. This is as dominated as you can get. Of like, yes, you can follow the nature, but the nature is going to disqualify you from society. You know, the nature will send you a notification, kill this person, and you're going to do it, and you're gone. You're wasted. Literally you can expect next 2 years, you'll receive a notification telling you to kill that person. Whatever that person might be. But you can start expecting that the world is actually going to tempt you so fucking hard to be evil that it's going to be blatant. Fucking blatant. In your face. Right now they have to open a vortex very carefully, you know? Very strategically, make it look good to be evil. But next 2 years, they're not going to do that shit. They're just going to slap you in the face and it's like, go do all these bad things. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Just do it. Just do that. Like, no one cares. Life is meaningless. People are going to fucking try and brainwash you as much as possible. So they turn you into a criminal. Because when the game changes, all of a sudden you're disqualified. You can't do nothing. You can't live a good life anymore. You must understand, the world is changing so fucking much. There's breakthrough after breakthrough. So many fucking experiences we can have. But if you're disqualified, you get nothing, bro. You get nothing. So it's a lot more important to be respectful and patient than ever before. Patient. I keep telling people to just look forward to the future and don't be such a zombie where you get triggered, you get offended. Oh my god, bro. You're lost. You're gonna lose this. This game is rigged against you if you get offended easily. Like, oh my god, bro. If you get reprogrammed easily, if you get controlled easily, you're gonna be lost so fast. See you guys next time. Good luck. Maybe domination is over.